guys, I'm back again, and since it is one day before Mother's Day, I thought I would talk about my very first trimester, how it was for me, and I guess you should grab popcorn and a drink because this video is going to be hella long. I'm pretty sure it's going to be an hour, so I don't know if I have to divide it in two parts or not, but there are a lot of things I want to talk about because yeah, my first trimester, actually my entire pregnancy, was not a normal pregnancy. So yeah, grab your drink, grab your food, grab your snack, and stay tuned with me. And if you're, gonna go through the entire video until the end, holy cow, you deserve a medal. Seriously. But yeah, I wanted to talk about my very first trimester. Okay, so I guess I should start from the very beginning. Was this baby planned, yes or no? And I can easily tell you guys, yes, this baby was completely planned. I, in life, am not a huge risk taker. I'm spontaneous and I like to do things on a whim. But when it comes to life-changing things, like, I don't know, having a baby, buying a house, getting married, these big things, I do not take risks. I want to plan the pros, the cons, as far as how much you could plan your life, I like to plan it. I'm a planner, I'm an organizer, so I like things to go the way I want them to go, and I don't like to be surprised in too many things in life, I guess. Of course you can plan and control everything, but you can control whether or not you're gonna have a kid. I'm sorry if you're gonna say that's bullshit. No, it's not. Especially in this day and age, you can plan that. And I've always said I did not want to have kids until I'm 30. But when I got to approximately, say, 29, I told my boyfriend, if I were to get pregnant, I wouldn't mind. We're not planning, during my 29th year, we weren't actually actively planning to have kids, but I told him if it were to happen, I wouldn't be mad and I would keep it, clearly. My boyfriend is younger than me, keep that in mind, and he was not ready at that time to have kids, and clearly we didn't, because I'm 31 right now and I still don't have kids, so, I am pregnant, but I don't have kids yet. So what happened was when I reached the age of 30, I was done. I want to have kids, and that was that. My boyfriend is somebody who likes to wait, but unfortunately, and he admits that, he sometimes waits too long. When it comes to him, he would have loved to wait 5 to 10 years, and hello, I have a biological clock. I simply cannot wait that long. On top of that, I knew until I was 30, I didn't, because I wanted to travel, I wanted to study, I wanted to work, I wanted to see the world and do fun things, and I just did not want to have kids early on. I wanted to enjoy my freedom. And on top of that, I also didn't want to have kids on a whim with someone. I wanted to have a firm relationship with somebody before I started to have children. I kind of wanted to do the smart thing. I'm not married. And I'm fine with that. Marriage isn't really something that I aspire to do anyway. I'm fine with the way things are. So, that's a little bit old-fashioned in my opinion. Like I said, if you want to get married, hey, honey, you do you. This is just from my perspective and just my mind, because it's my pregnancy, clearly. I'm talking about, I'm not judging anybody on anything. It was just for me. So when I was 30, I told him look, dude, I'm not going to wait too long because I'm 30, within the range between 30 and 35, I need to have at least a kid, because when a woman reaches 35, the chances of having a child with syndrome of Down, unfortunately, is pretty high. And it gets higher and higher and higher, and your little egos are slowly dying off. So I told him I don't, want to risk that. Why? Because they start dying off at 30 already, and I was 30. So eventually I noticed that he liked the idea of having kids, for example, going out, with the little one, you know. He was slowly growing into the idea. On top of that, my boyfriend and I, we always have long talks about stuff. Like I said, we don't do things on a whim. We like to discuss it. And I also told him, like, look, I don't want to wait too long because of our parents. I have a mom, you have a mom and dad, and I don't want them to be that old and maybe even sick, and I don't know, you know, health complications. Clearly, everybody's going to get them when you're older, but I don't want our child growing up with grandmas and grandpas that are so old that they can't do anything with the kid. You know, they can't fully enjoy the kid, and the kid can't fully enjoy grandma and grandpa. You know, I want them as they are now. Now they're capable of running with the kid and playing ball and I don't know, playing with dolls, playing, you name it, what a kid wants, you know, running around with the kid. Now they can. But if we wait another 5 to 10 years, it's going to be too long. So I explained that to him, like, also for them, I don't want it to be too long. And first, I didn't want to have kids at all. For the people who know me in real life, hey, y'all know I did not want to have kids. But unfortunately, in 2017, I watched my uncle die, and he had a stroke, and his left side for a year, his right side was paralyzed, and he wasn't able to talk. And I remember one of my last talks before he died was about the fact that he did not have kids. And I told him, like, I don't want to have kids either. And he told me, you're going to regret that. That's the biggest regret he has ever had in his entire life. And he told me, like, have kids. Have kids, you're going to regret that. And I watched him die all alone. That really hit me, like, this is not something that I want. I want to have kids. You know, I want somebody to be there when I'm not around anymore, somebody to leave all my stuff to, somebody to you know, it's my blood and my life lessons and just everything. I want to share it with somebody. And of course you have a partner, but it's not the same as having a kid. And that was kind of the reasoning. You know, it all kind of fell together when I was 30. So my boyfriend and I, we were finally at the same page, and we said, you know what, let's give it a try. We're just gonna try from now on. And we've tried for about 5 to 6 months with no luck. And, you know, I was starting to get afraid because I know a lot of people around me that have a lot of kids. They're completely unplanned. They just have kid after kid after kid after kid. And I have a lot of friends around me as well that cannot have kids at all, even with IVF. Like, they just can't. So the only option they have is either adoption, which is not easy, as we all know, or just nothing. And so, you know, we've seen the best of both worlds, and we were just very afraid that we were the ones in the category of you can't have children, because for months we've been trying with no success. So I started buying these ovulation tests, and I swear I spent a fortune, because I thought it was me, because I had a lot of surgeries back in the day, a lot of pretty heavy surgeries, and I was just afraid all the chemicals that are, you know, come into your body during surgery. Yes, they leave, but you never know, you know, what could happen and if that had anything to do, you know, with the fact that I wasn't able to have kids. So, excuse me, I bought these ovulation kits, and every day for a month and a half, I was testing, like, am I ovulating, yes or no? Because for the people that want to get pregnant, I don't know if you know it, but a woman usually can have actually only 3 days where she can actually get pregnant during the month, which is, of course, the day before ovulation, the day of ovulation, and the day after ovulation. Those 3 days are, like, the best to get pregnant. Like I said, we were trying, I bought these kits, and for a month and a half I was testing, and I wasn't ovulating. And I just didn't understand, like, because the TMI, I know, but I don't want to not tell you guys stuff, because there was so much stuff I didn't know. I don't know, I'm going to share. If this is TMI, click off the video, stop watching, because it's only going to get worse, trust me. Anyway, my menstrual cycle was normal, as it usually, for years has been. So I was just like weirded out by I'm not ovulating, yet I do menstruate. So, you know, it just didn't click in my mind. So I was very, very afraid that it was me. And then all of a sudden in November, I was ovulating. I did a test and I was ovulating. And I was like, holy cow, okay, like this needs to happen now. This is our chance. So I told my boyfriend, just grabbed him and I said, now, because we need to, you know, hopefully we can get pregnant. So after about a week and a half after my ovulation, I did a pregnancy test and it was negative. And it sucked. I felt so bad. And that was, I literally said to my boyfriend, like, I'm going to plan a doctor's appointment because, you know, I was ovulating, yet I'm still not pregnant. Something is just not right. Something is wrong. So I was already, you know, planning to go ahead and call the doctor. But in the meantime, it was December now, and the 5th of December is here in Holland, it's Sinterklaas. And the weekend before we spent it with his parents, and then the weekend after that, because it felt in between the week, but the kids had to go to school, so, you know, it's not really handy dandy to plan it throughout the week, so we planned it in the weekend. So we went to my sister because she has 2 kids, and we always give gifts, you know, like Christmas. It's not the same as Christmas. Look it up on Wikipedia or whatever if you're not from Holland, but it's not the same as Christmas, but the Dutch celebrate it a very big way. So we went to my sister for Sinterklaas, and I noticed that I wasn't feeling right. But I knew, you know, I wasn't pregnant because I had a negative test. And there was also a flu epidemic here in Holland, and everybody around me already had the flu. That's a good sentence. But you know what I mean? And I didn't. And I thought, oh boy, this is, you know, this is me now. Now it's my turn to get the flu. But I rarely ever get the flu. So when I get it, it's going to be heavy. I knew it. And I did not feel great that day at all going to my sister. So we ate dinner. And my sister noticed, like, I had a gastric bypass done, okay, but your girl can eat, okay? I can still eat, trust me. And my sister noticed that I wasn't eating as much. And like I said, I was just nauseous. I was so nauseous, but not the regular nauseous that you would be during a flu. This was completely different. So I thought, oh my God, I'm coming down with a virus and I'm going to infect everybody here. Like, holy cow. So my sister asked, you know, my mom and me, do you want a glass of wine? And clearly we said yes. Why wouldn't we? Not like I was pregnant. So I said, yeah, I want a glass of wine. Why not? We always enjoy our wine. So while we were drinking, when I drank up, it was just one glass of wine that I had, I felt so nauseous, so bad that I was like, oh my God, I'm going to pass out. I thought I was going to pass out. I've never felt this bad from wine. Like, really, you know, I was just, I don't know, I wasn't feeling good. So I sat during the table like, wow, I'm not really, you know, feeling good. And my mom was like, yeah, you're not feeling good because you're pregnant. And I'm like, no, I'm not pregnant. And she was like, oh yeah, you're pregnant. And she was like saying it as a joke, but she meant it. Like, you're pregnant. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I did a test. It was negative and I'm not pregnant. So no. So the next day, my boyfriend stayed the night here because it was weekend. And the next day I just felt horrible. I still did not feel good. So, you know, the words that my mom said went through my mind, and I told my boyfriend, like, you know what? Just to be safe, I'm going to do another test because I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. I measured my temperature first, and my temperature was fine. So I knew I didn't have the flu. So I just, you know, and I didn't have a droopy nose or have a cold, because usually I first have a cold, then temperature starts to get up, then I get like the whole herpes thing, and then I know, oh my God, I'm going to get sick, you know, or I am sick, whatever. But none of that happened. So I did another test, a pregnancy test, and I noticed the smallest thing thinnest line on that little positive strip, but it was so vague that I personally thought it means, you're not pregnant. But I wasn't sure because I wasn't feeling that great. And on top of that, my boobs were starting to hurt. So I didn't know what was up. And I figured, you know what, if anybody would know, my mom, when she was pregnant with us, she had like these old school pregnancy tests, but with these modern type things, I'm not really sure if she even knows, how to read them, whatever. So I figured I'm gonna call my sister and I'm gonna ask her through the app. So I showed her like a picture and I just typed in, dude, is this positive or negative? What do you think? And she was at work, so she couldn't answer me. And I was just, I don't know, I was just getting nauseous, and something in my head just told me like, you know what? How about you give your mama a call? Because, they might be old-fashioned, but it's your mom. She had 2 kids. She knows what's up. So I called my mom and I told her like, Mom, I don't feel good. And she was like, yeah, because you're pregnant. she knew. And I was like, no, I'm not pregnant. I did a pregnancy test just now and I have like this vague strip. And she's like, yeah, you're pregnant. I couldn't get a word through. And she was like, you know what? Go to the store, go get a digital, like the clear blue test, like the digital test. They will tell you, because it will say, you don't have to work with stripes. It just says pregnant or not pregnant. And then if you're pregnant, it says how many weeks you're pregnant. So she told me like, go to the store, grab that one and come here. So I went to her. She lives right across from me. I grabbed it in the store. I went to her and, it wasn't morning pee anymore, but I figured, what the hell, if I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant, So I peed on the stick and I waited. And for the people well, for the people, it can only be women. I mean, hello. For the women who either want to have a baby or desperately not want to have a baby, they know how crucial those damn 2 minutes are. They feel like a lifetime. And I was just in the bathroom like, come on, nervous. And all of a sudden, boom, pow, it said in thick letters, pregnant. And I told my mom like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. Like, I couldn't believe it. And my mom just said, told you. She knew. I don't know how that woman knew, but she knew. So underneath the whole pregnant situation, it said how many weeks. And I was between 2 and 3 weeks pregnant. So clearly my mom was the first one to know, just like me. And she congratulated me. She was so happy. She was like, finally, I'm going to have a grandchild of you. She has 2, but not, those are my sisters. She didn't have a grandchild for me just yet. And she has been bugging me ever since I turned 25 years old. Every day, give me a grandchild, give me a grandchild. So finally she was going to have one. So the first thing I did was I called up my boyfriend and I told him like, oh my God, we're pregnant. Like, we're pregnant. We did it. So when it was around 5 or 6 at night, my sister got off from work and she called me and she told me like, hey dude, I think it's a positive test. Like, you should go out and buy clear blue. And I told her, I stopped her right there and I was like, congratulations, you're gonna be an auntie. And she was completely happy. And so my family pretty much knew immediately, because I kind of spoiled it myself by asking whether or not, the strip was positive or not. And I told my boyfriend, like, look, we're going to tell our parents and our brothers and sisters, like, they need to know immediately. I'm not going to wait those damn 3 months, because you have to usually wait 3 months, to make sure. Well, you're never sure, but you know what I mean. The chances of having a miscarriage are pretty high during the first 3 months. So that's why people don't say it before the 3 months. But it's an inner circle of family. Christmas was about to come up and I thought it would be the best opportunity to tell my boyfriend's parents and his brothers on Christmas, because I thought that would be like the best gift we could give them. So I told my boyfriend, look, my family clearly knows because I kind of spoiled it myself, but for your family, what if we do it for Christmas as an extra gift? And he liked that idea, so we did that. So like I said, I found out I was pregnant. We did not wait. We just told my family, and everything for me kind of clicked. You know, the boobies that were hurting, the nausea, the just overall not really feeling myself feeling great. I do remember that also I wasn't menstruating. I already had to have my period and I didn't have it. But like I said, I did that damn test and it said negative. So I thought, oh boy, like I'm really coming down with something when even my menstrual cycle is effed up, you know. I thought it was the flu. Clearly it wasn't. And the day before I found out, I had a pretty big glass of alcohol because there was wine, you know, involved. So I felt so guilty about that because you're also in your first trimester. Like I said, chances of a miscarriage are pretty big. It wasn't easy to get pregnant already. So, you know, I felt real big guilt and I just felt bad. I was like, oh my God, now I finally get to have a baby and now I ruined the entire baby already. So, you know, that was something I was like, it was just not sitting well with me. But at the same time, I also realized like it happened. Like I can be angry and stressed about that, which is not good for the baby and myself either. But it happened. Let it go. It happened. Move on. You know you're pregnant now. Be careful. Okay, so during the month of December, because I found out on the 7th of December that I was already 2 to 3 weeks pregnant. So I found out, and during the month of December, my nausea, oh boy, it just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And Christmas came around. So we always celebrate Christmas here, but unfortunately, when you're pregnant, and this does not go out to all the women out there, some women have the best pregnancy ever. Good for you. I sure as hell did not have. So I could not handle anything, and I mean anything. So during Christmas, I always cook, I always bake pies, and you know, I love doing that on Halloween as well, on Christmas, especially like Easter, stuff like that. I love doing that. So I wanted to do it for Christmas as well, clearly, because we already all planned to go here. During Sinterklaas, we will be at my sister's, then my mom's birthday, clearly at my mom's, and Christmas over here, and New Year's at my mom's again. Because we can't see the fireworks here because of the way the building is. Anyway, doesn't matter. So for Christmas, my whole family came over at my place, and I could not cook. I was so nauseous that I couldn't cook, I couldn't handle smells. It was just awful. And I felt so bad that I was just puking. I was puking the entire day. So my family came over and I was like, toughen up, you know, there are kids here. I don't want to puke in front of the kids. It's like, come on, you know, I'm their auntie. I don't want to do that. So everything was fine. My mom decided to cook because I could not handle that. So I felt really bad because, you know, I'm the one hosting it, yet I wasn't able to do anything. So my mom cooked the entire dinner, and my mom and my sister actually helped me clean up because I was, of course, again, too nauseous. And all of a sudden, I was standing in the kitchen at the window just like getting some fresh air because I felt so bad. I had to puke 3 times in a row, like the entire dinner just kind of came out. Sorry, TMI. While the kids were in the living room. So I felt so bad about that because, like, you know, like I said, I'm the host. It's kind of stupid to throw up where, you know, everybody's in the house, but I just couldn't handle it. The next day, because I have to explain that here in Holland, you don't have 1 day of Christmas. In Holland, they introduced 2 days of Christmas and 2 days of Easter, which I personally love. Why? Because there are 2 families, and it's always going to be a struggle on to what family you're going to go. And there is, I told my boyfriend, no way in hell I'm not going to go to my mom. My mom cannot be alone for Christmas. Like, no. First day of Christmas, I'm always going to be at my mom's. And because she's alone, you know, my parents are divorced, and my mom is all alone. And I told him, like, no offense, but your parents, they are never alone. They always have each other. My mom has nobody. And in Croatia, on top of that, I'm Croatian. In Croatia, we only have 1 day of Christmas, which is the 25th. So I told my boyfriend, like, the first day of Christmas, I always spend it with my mom, and the second day we always go to his family. That way, you know, no arguments. We can do both families at once, and nobody has to feel guilty. So on the second day, the morning, which this was the day that we were planning to tell his parents, because we didn't tell up to then. That morning, I got so sick. I was so nauseous. I haven't slept for about 2-3 days. Like, I just didn't sleep at night. That's how bad my nausea was. We went to the ER, and we went there in the morning, and I explained to him, like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I know you get morning sickness, but this isn't morning sickness anymore, because it's not during the morning, it's during the entire freaking day, even in the middle of the night, and I am literally hanging over the toilet bowl every single day, about 20 times a day. Like, I'm done. Like, physically, I can't handle it. My stomach was burning, especially over here, this throat area. Oh, it was killing me. Like, I just, you know, physically wasn't able to do stuff anymore. I was getting weaker, and I said to him, like, it's Christmas. We're gonna go to his parents to celebrate Christmas. I don't want to be puking in somebody else's house. Like, I already feel bad about it. You know, I don't want to do that. So I went to the emergency room, and the doctor told us that I did have the nausea, and then but like during the day as well, and then he gave us some pills, and you know, we could go on. So I tried out those pills, and I immediately took one because I wanted to be, you know, okay for Christmas. And then we went to my boyfriend's parents, and we told them in a card as like the last gift when everybody opened up their gifts. We wanted this to be like the last gift to give. So we did that, and we were sweating balls because we didn't know, you know, you never know how people will react, but thankfully everybody in our family was happy about it, and of course we are happy as well. So when it comes to that, you know, everything was fine. So that was pretty much my first month. Then came January, and I can easily tell you that was probably the worst month for me to be pregnant. Nearing the end of December, the whole world found out about a certain virus in China, in Wuhan, or Wuhan, I'm not really sure how you guys pronounce it there. I'm butchering the name, so sorry about that. But we found out about a certain virus, and you know, I was talking with my family about this because at first it just seemed a small, little, harmless virus, but pretty much every single day it got worse and worse and worse and worse. I don't have to tell you guys because everybody, like the whole world, is living in it right now. So y'all know how drastic all of a sudden this virus became. But I remember it was in China, then it went to, I think it was Iran if I'm not mistaken, and then all of a sudden it came to Europe, and clearly we live in Europe. It came to Italy. It was so fast, and you know, it got me a little stressed out because we found out every single day that this virus was not just a silly little flu as people thought it was, but this was actually something like an epidemic, something deadly. And during the midst of all, I'm still in my first trimester pregnant. And I was starting to get like a little bit afraid because clearly, you know, you've tried so long to get pregnant, you're finally pregnant, you had a very rough first month behind you, you don't want to lose this kid. You know, this is something that clearly is going to change your life, and you want nothing but the best for your child. So that was pretty, you know, pretty tough. We're starting, you know, slowly to get stressed out because of this whole virus thing. But January came around, which is my birthday month, and I just got sicker and sicker and sicker. And like I said, I was puking the entire freaking day. I have puked, TMI, I know, at my place, at my mom's place, at my sister's place, in the freaking IKEA 3 times already, in the grocery store, in another grocery store in Germany, outside of the parking lot of the grocery store, there is probably not a store or a house that I visited that I have not puked in. Like, that's how bad the situation was. And I noticed straight away, because clearly I was talking to my sister and my mom, like, is this normal? Like, I know pretty much everyone does have a certain form of nausea, but is this normal? Like, this much? And my mom told me, like, I don't know what is wrong with you, but I did not, I had nausea, but not that much. It was usually in the morning, and, she could, go about her day. My sister didn't have nausea at all, so she had the perfect pregnancy twice. And I was just sick and sick and sick. And then came the week where I lost 8 kilos in 1 week, which was, a lot. It's about roughly around 16 pounds in a week. And it was starting to get to the point where I got sick from drinking water even. And that's when I went online, because I really don't want to go to doctors. I really hate hospitals, so I did not want to go, to the ER again. So I looked up online, like, what it could be, what it could mean. And it said online you have, like, the typical nausea, which is usually, during the mornings, and then you puke 1-2 times, maybe 3, and you're fine. You can go out your day, you can eat, you can drink, everything is fine. And then there's the form of extreme nausea. And extreme nausea is basically where you can't even drink water. You're already getting nauseous, you're losing a lot of weight, you can't hold any food, any liquid, nothing. And I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what's happening to me. And I looked at the symptoms and I could stripe off every single one of those damn symptoms. So I did eventually see a doctor. And they said that if I'm not planning to eat and drink, especially drink, because you need to stay hydrated, and that was kind of impossible during that period, I would be taken to the hospital, whether you like it or not. Like, they will come for you, because your life and your baby's life is in danger. So, there's no saying yes or no. They're just going to come and they're just going to take you to the hospital. And you're going to need to stay there for about 1 to 3 weeks, depending on your situation. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, hell no. Like, no. That's not something we're going to do. Because I did not want to go to the hospital, because you're going to get, they're going to inject food directly into your stomach. So that also means having an extra scar on my body. I was like, oh, hell no, that's not going to happen. So I was forcing myself to eat and to drink. But unfortunately, because of that, the puking got worse and worse and worse and worse. And it came to the point where I had days where I wasn't even able to stand up. I felt so nauseous. I felt so bad. And that lasted, a lot of women say, oh, it's just the first trimester. Don't worry. When you're in your second trimester, everything will go away. Honestly, from my experience, like I said, not every pregnancy is the same. And I will say immediately, do not listen to any of the women out there. Even if it's your mom, I don't care who it is, every pregnancy is different. Do not listen to anybody out there telling you what you should do or how your pregnancy is gonna go. Ain't nobody got time for that. Nobody knows how your pregnancy is gonna be but you. And to me, everybody always said it's just the first trimester. When you're, in your 4th month, second trimester, it's going to be fine. It's going to get better. It's not true, is my experience. It did get a little better, but at the same time it didn't. I'll explain that during my second trimester video. But I am next week in my 3rd trimester, and I still get nauseous and I still have to puke. So, this stuff, when you have extreme nausea, it does not go away. It said so online as well. Every single doctor said if you have extreme nausea, it will not go away for 9 months. You're going to have it during your entire pregnancy. And that is so freaking true. It really, really is. Anyway, like I said, that week when I lost so many kilograms, that was like the worst week I've had ever during my entire pregnancy. And I just knew something in my mind clicked, like, okay, if I really don't want to go to the hospital, I have to force myself. And I've noticed that I had binges. I had binges where a couple of weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks, I ate apples. I ate so many apples, like Well, let me put it this way. When I could, half of it I would puke out, but still, you know, I just had the urge for apples. Then all of a sudden, I woke up in another week and I just couldn't eat apples anymore. I was puking from apples. It was done. And then I couldn't eat bread for the entire first trimester. So I ate like toast. I bought a little toaster and I made toast, which I could take 2 bites of and not be able to eat. And then, you know, I had to experiment with food and drinks and coffee I couldn't handle. I puked out all my coffee at my sister's place. So, and of course, coffee isn't healthy for you during your pregnancy, but you can have 1 cup of coffee a day. That's pretty much what you can have. And usually I drink cappuccinos or latte macchiatos, lattes, which are mostly milk. And there's not a lot of coffee in there. Or you could use decaf, clearly. But I wasn't holding in anything. So I started to drink water like crazy, but I was puking it out as well. It was just, I can tell you, January was hell for me. It really, really was. On top of being nauseous, what else happened is, again, I don't know if every woman out there suffers from it. I know most women do, which is smells. I could not handle smells. My perfume, like I have so many perfumes, y'all know I love perfume, and I wasn't able to wear any of my perfumes, and it sucked. It sucked so bad because I hated the smell. I couldn't handle the smell. As soon as I smelled my perfume, I had to go and puke. The same goes for food, especially meat. Oh my God, I could not handle meat. If anybody was cooking or baking or barbecuing or whatever meat around me, I would puke. That was that. The same goes for deodorant. Oh my God, the aerosol deodorant I usually already cannot handle. But during my pregnancy, holy crap, like no. The same goes for body lotion. I always use body lotion when I get out of the shower. Couldn't handle it. Shampoo, couldn't handle it. Like smells, I could not handle. Same goes for bright lights. That's also the reason, by the way, guys, why in that period, December, January, and a little bit of February, I didn't film too much. These bright lights, I have 3 bright lights over here, I could not handle. I could not handle bright light. I would have to go and puke. And sometimes, more often than not, unfortunately, I wouldn't even make it to the toilet. I was already, you know, kind of puking through your hands. So, yeah, that was not a good trimester. Like I said, I lost too much weight. I couldn't handle it at all. I didn't know what was going on because every other woman around me did not have it that extreme as I did. And it just sucked, you know, it just sucked, especially hearing every single woman out there say, oh, you're going to be fine. It's going to be fine. This is just part of being pregnant. And I was like, no, this is not normal. This is not normal behavior. There is not a woman out there. All the women who were saying that were women that did not go through the same thing as I did. And I was just getting annoyed at people telling me, oh, it's normal. I just wanted to say, like, shut the hell up. This is my pregnancy. You have no idea how it's for me. I had no idea what it's like for you. Some, like I said, women have great pregnancies. Others have horrible pregnancies. And you know, like I said, I'm in my 3rd trimester and I'm still not thoroughly enjoying my pregnancy. So, you know, it just sucks. That's why I say don't listen to other women. I know their advice is well meant, but just don't listen to it. So then came, I'm sorry, I had to write it on paper because I was forgetting something. Then came my birthday, and it was my 31st birthday. And I remember during that day, I told my boyfriend, like, I think I'm going to cancel my birthday because I was not feeling good at all. My mom came over to help me, you know, set stuff up because clearly I couldn't handle the damn smell of certain things on the table. And she helped me set up, and I just said to her, like, I think I'm going to cancel everything. Like, it's literally 15 minutes before people have to come, but I could not handle it. So my mom noticed that when I bent over, that was the point where I wasn't feeling good. And I started to pay attention from my birthday on to what she said, and she was right. Whenever I bent over, I was getting so ridiculously nauseous that I just had to stop bending over. Like, I couldn't pick up things from the floor. I had to ask my mom, my sister, my boyfriend, like, could you pick this up for me? Could you do this? Could you do that? Because I was getting really nauseous. I don't know what it is with mothers. They just know. Like I said, she knew I was pregnant before I did. She just knew immediately, like, don't bend over. That's the reason why you're so, you know, extremely nauseous, on top of the regular nausea. And she was right. All of the times she was completely right. So I've noticed that, you know, when I have to pick up things from the floor, I just asked somebody else to do that, as horrible as it sounds, but you know, I didn't have a choice. So like I said, during Christmas, Halloween, holidays, etc., I love to bake and to cook and you name it. And for my birthday, I made 3 cakes, and don't even ask me how, okay? It was a struggle to make them, but I did. And it was wasted time, money, effort, food, because all 3 of the cakes ended up in the trash because they did not come out good. Let me put it that way. Some of them weren't cooked, some of them were just dry, and the other was falling apart as guests were here. I made cheesecake. I always make cheesecake, and it's like something I know from like the back of my hand. You know, I know how to make cheesecake, okay? Not to toot my own horn, but I do. And out of all the hundreds of cheesecakes I made in my life, this particular one did not pan out great, and I had to throw it out as well. And that's when I realized, like, stop forcing yourself to do things, especially during this whole first trimester. It's just not meant to be. Don't force it, because all of the cakes I could throw out. Thank goodness I had different cakes, like bought cakes. But still, you know, I don't know, it just sucked. So I realized, like, in the first trimester, there will be no cooking, there will be no cleaning, because the cleaning supplies I couldn't handle the smell of either. There will be no picking up things from the floor. My house was a pigsty during the first 3 months. Like, I'm going to be serious about that. It was horrible. Like, the laundry was just piling and piling and piling up. I could do like 10 washing machines in a week, but I couldn't, because I couldn't freaking pick it up from the floor. So I had to bother, like, my mom and my boyfriend every single day. Like, could you do, I don't know, the laundry? Could you do the kitchen? Could you clean this? Could you cook that? Because I couldn't handle it. That's how bad it got. So I am glad that during my second trimester, that was definitely a little bit different. Anyway, that was my first trimester, and then on Valentine's Day, I entered my second trimester, and right before that, on my birthday, it was so special, it was so weird also. On my birthday, which is the 31st of December, so 2 weeks before my second trimester started, I had my very first ultrasound. My boyfriend came along with me. And we saw the little baby for the first time, and it was so sweet. It was so cute, and the little baby was jumping up and down and like waving at us with the little hand. It was just the cutest thing ever, and it was even more special because it was actually on my own birthday, so that made it like just great. At that appointment, I explained to the nurse working there that, you know, we've tried for a long time, and, you know, we weren't able to get pregnant, because she asked, you know, about your background. And eventually what she told me, and that's something that I didn't know, and I know a lot of people out there don't know either, so, you know, hold your hope, I guess, and your head held high, sorry, can't pronounce the words, because I told her we tried for about 5 to 6 months, and, you know, no luck. And she told me that's actually not a long time at all. She said it's up to a year that people try, and that is normal. That is actually considered normal for a year to try not to get pregnant. I did not know that. I thought our 5 to 6 months was like way too much, because like I said, I know people who, like, you know, kind of do it and they're pregnant just at once. So she told me, so I'm going to tell you guys out there, if you're trying up to a year and you're still not pregnant, that's actually considered normal. It's not abnormal, so don't give up hope. Just try and try. And she also told me during that appointment, because I had a gastric bypass done, as y'all know, and a lot of other surgeries, I was not able to give birth at home. She said I had to give birth in the hospital. Like, that's non-negotiable. In the hospital is where I have to give birth. So, you know, we kind of settled with that, and now I had to go not to that place anymore, but just straight to the hospital, and I have a lot of checkups and you name it. But I also see that I have been yapping for about an hour, so we need to shut this video off. I'm at the end of my first trimester. Anyway, like I said, Valentine's Day, also a very special date. I entered my second trimester, and Valentine's Day is a special day because on Valentine's Day in 2012, I got my gastric bypass. Ever since I met my boyfriend, my Valentine's Days have been super and awesome. And on Valentine's Day, on top of that, I just entered my second trimester. So, you know, those days have something special for you, I guess. Anyway, we're gonna talk about that in another video. That is when the whole earthquake, when the whole corona situation, you know, is going on. Like I said, next week I'm entering my third trimester, so I think within a month or two I should be filming the second video. I'd like to thank y'all so much for watching. If you guys actually stood around for, let's see, about 50 minutes of me yapping, y'all deserve a medal. I'd like to thank y'all so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section down below, have you been pregnant? Are you planning on getting pregnant? Like, let's chat about that. I would love to know. I would love to know if you guys would like me to do a video, because I've heard some people have interest in that, in what your body goes through, because there are a hell of a lot of changes that are happening to your body. TMI, but I didn't know a lot of things, and I think the world should know. So let me know in the comment section down below. I'd like to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!